I'll just show you the book. So, you want to hear a little scary story? Are you sure? Okay. So, this deity, you can see him, he's here. This is Ugra Narasimha. You see how he's tearing Hiranyakashipu? You see? Very special deity. So this deity, I went there late at night. And the Brahmin, it was 11 p.m. Still the Brahmin came and opened the temple for me. And one man from America who's from this village, he came with us. He said, one man from the village who spoke English said, we shouldn't go to the temple at night because the demigods come to worship Bhagwan Narasimha. And I said, oh, maybe. Sometimes in my travels, many years of my life, sometimes in India they'll say things, you know, but where's the proof? You know? So I said, okay, no problem. Demigods will be Shanti. And we went inside the temple midnight, pitch black, and we had the lights for photographing Narasimha Swami. Now, the lights were pointing at Narasimha, but still you could see inside the temple room. So I kept looking. Many people were coming inside. I could see the shadows. So many. And I was used to it because in my travels, when they would hear I was there, a Westerner, everybody would wake up and they would come and join in the puja. Even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. They were eager to worship Narasimha and see the white guy. A lot of the villages, you know, were remote. So I was just, oh, good, people are coming. We can do a nice program. So after we photographed, I turned around and nobody was in the temple. And I said, this is crazy. I saw at least 20, 30 people come in the temple. How is there nobody in the temple? And I asked the Swamiji, where's the people? He said, no people. Nobody came. So I thought I was going pagal, you know? And crazy. I thought I was going crazy. And then I went outside the temple and we were doing pradakshina, parikrama. And my photographer, I left him to photograph, shine the light at the temple at night. And he came running to me, screaming. He dropped the camera. Oh my God, there's a humongous bird in the tree, bigger than me, bigger than the temple. I said, what? It's impossible. So I went running to try to catch a glimpse, you know. I had my flashlight, and all I could feel was like wings, and the whole tree was shaking. Gigantic banyan tree, you know, huge. So it made my hairs stand on end. Goosebumps, you know, goosebumps. I was shocked. And my photographer was scared to death. Small guy, you know, he's still scared. And the Brahmin said, oh, this is Garuda. We offended him maybe. He comes for darshan in the evening. He's on the bank of the Krishna River and he's hunting for snakes, cobras. Many cobras in this area. So many adventures like this I had. Day after day, a different temple, a different experience. Sometimes with tigers. Sometimes it was very very wild actually. Let me show you another form. This is one of my favorites. He's called Chintamani Narasimha. You see how beautiful he is? Isn't he nice? Now again, this is a temple that the kids helped me. The temple was locked. I drove 2 hours and over the mountains and the jungles to find this temple, and no Brahmin. He was having his noon nap somewhere in another village. But I was hearing a voice in my head say, look on top of the carving on the entrance. Just put your hand there. So I put my hand on top, and there was the key, the charbi. So I took it, and I opened the door. I went inside, and then all of a sudden, all these kids came with baskets of flowers and tulsi, and they had small pots with water. Next to the temple, there was a small stream. And we all just did Abhishek, and they were hugging Narasimha, giving him nice hugs, telling Narasimha they love him. It was a very beautiful experience. You can see them. They're in this photo down here, the kids. See them? Beautiful kids. I don't know where they came from because there was no houses anywhere. This one was an amazing temple. Yoga Narasimha Swami on top of a mountain. And I was driving my Tata Sumo, but it started raining. And I was driving up in Karnataka, they had this mud, this red mud. Very dangerous, khatarnak when you're driving. And the Jeep started to fall off the cliff. And it was going to go. I was going to hit and go down the mountain and maybe mar gaya, dead. Khatam ho gaya. Right? My photographer was screaming, Hare Bhagwan Narasimha, Jai Narasimha, Narasimha, please save us. I was laughing because I knew nothing. Why would God let me die if I'm going to find him? You understand? Narasimha is protector. So just before the Jeep went off the cliff, the stone caught on the stone. And I immediately went out of the Jeep and started walking up the hill to find Narasimha. And just perfect timing, the Brahmin finished Abhishek, was chanting the Narasimha Kavach, Maha Narasimha Sudarshan Stotra as well. And it was heaven. My photographer was crying because, you know, he's a married man, he was very scared. Didn't want to die, but I had this idea. God will never, why would he let anything happen to me when all I'm trying to do is find him and find his temples? And I saw this same mood in the people's eyes that worship Narasimha. They were fearless. Just like this king in Goa. Any of you been to Goa? Goa's a very materialistic town. But this king, the king of Goa, he was one of the richest kings in India. He built a temple for Narasimha because before nobody conquered him, not the Portuguese, not the Muslims, not the Christians. He slaughtered them all. And before he went into his first battle, he had a dream, and he was praying to the Lord, and the Lord said, I am here waiting for you to worship me before you go into battle. And it was a small deity of Lakshmi Narasimha he found under this beautiful banyan tree, which is still there. And after he conquered all the battles, he built this magnificent temple filled with gold and silver everywhere. And then you can see how beautiful, he put this silver kavacha on Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha Swami. And up until his death, nobody touched. And I was at this temple having darshan, very quiet, up in the mountain overlooking the beach. And so many like Bollywood people came, movie stars. This is their Kuladev, or their Ishtadev, their family deity. You would be shocked the many people I met at this temple that are connected, their families connected, you know, big Bollywood, or, you know, rich Maharashtrian businessmen. And let me show you some of my other favorite. Any of you been to Pune? Pune? No? This is in Maharashtra as well. See how beautiful? A white Lakshmi Narasimha. Sorry. This is the oldest and first temple in Pune. It's in old Pune. So when I went there, there's all these young kids sitting, hundreds, with notebooks, scribbling. And I asked them, what are you doing here? It was lunchtime, yeah. What do you, kya kare? They said, oh, we're studying before our Father. He gives us good marks. I said, what? What do you mean? No, Narasimha, if we study before Narasimha, he gives us intelligence and we have good marks. This is the system here for many years. And young kids, 10 years, 12 years, up to high school. I was thinking, this is very sweet. Hundreds of them sitting there. They could go play, they could go enjoy. No, sitting there. And they come lunchtime, they eat their lunch, they study with Narasimha. They come after school and they also do their homework there. This is the system. Their father and mother did it there for like 4 or 5 generations. Very sweet. And let me see some other temples. And every temple, it was such a mission. Prahlad Maharaj says, through tapasya, Bhagavan will come before you. Only through tapasya. Prahlad says this. And look at the tapasya Prahlad did. They were torturing him. He had to remain shanti. So if our parents yell at us, or if our husband or wife yells at us, we lose all. We become very angry, moody. But Prahlad was a real yogi. This one is amazing. In Raibagh, Maharashtra. He's in an underground cave. He's Jwala Narasimha, tearing out the intestines of Hiranyakashipu. And it's very far down in the, and you have to go at least 15 to 18 meters underground. And when the Muslims were invading India, which they always do and did, the kings were very intelligent. The kings would preempt. If they knew another dynasty was fighting, eventually they would so they would take the deities and build underground temples with tunnels in houses so nobody would know. So this is one of them. And it's amazing. You go down and it's a proper temple with pillars, everything. Underground, you know. Let's see. So being young, I never knew that there was so many forms of Narasimha. I never knew. I thought it was Lakshmi Narasimha, Ugra Narasimha. I didn't know this. There's Jwala. Jwala means fire. His whole body became fire. There's Panchmukhi Narasimha. What is this? 5 different heads. One is happy, one is sad, one is mad, one is joyful, right? Ferocious. And then there's Chintamani Narasimha. He's holding the Chintamani flower, which means unlimited boons to his devotees. Kevala, he's sitting in pure yoga meditation, but he's holding the chakra just in case the kids become bad. I'm just kidding. He's just holding it's leaning like this, effortlessly, but his eyes are half shut and he's meditating. So he's showing, I will protect you. And then there's Kanaka, which is Garuda carrying Lakshmi Narasimha on his back. Girija, do you know what Girija means? No. Are bapre. Girija means residing within a cave, waiting for his devotees to come. So many different forms I kept finding and finding. This is the one that's not opening, where the kids brought me to. You want to see it? You sure? Okay. See, Lakshmi is there. Or Sri Devi and Bhudevi with Yoga Narasimha. Such an amazing temple. All the kids were hugging him. They were giving Narasimha a hug because he's God. You can hug God, right? He's your father. Who says you cannot hug? He does not say this. So let's find some other ones. Look, another Chintamani Narasimha. Beautiful Narasimha. Amazing. So it was like when you're a child, you only think there's few types of candy, but then you go to a candy store and your mind is blown. This was happening to me. How many amazing forms of Narasimha I was finding. And I realized I didn't know anything. So many varieties because he appears to his devotees in many different forms. He appeared to the Saptarishis, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, right? In so many variations. There's Bala, Bhadra Narasimha, he's standing, right? You know who Ramanujacharya is? You know Ramanuja? Any of them? Yeah, Sri Vaishnava. He was very special. So this is one of his, this is where he went when the Muslims were after to kill him. He stayed at this temple and worshipped this deity for years. Nice, huh? And Ramanuja personally painted the eyes. You see how it's white? It's very unusual. So, and oh, you want to see something very amazing? Oh my God. Normally we see Narasimha like this, in a form, right? Like a deity. But this deity is called Iskupe, and it's a lion Narasimha. Look. Yes. He was worshipped by the tribal gypsy jungle people. I have to tell you a story, but maybe it's too scary for the kids. You guys have to leave. Good night. So, this one is to do with the wild, dangerous elephants in the jungle. So when I found this deity, he's in the jungle. We had to walk like 1 kilometer, park the jeep and walk with one of my friends. And he said we have to be a little quiet because the jungle, there's the wild elephants, the leopards, okay, tigers. So go slowly. So we were walking and we found Narasimha. But then the ground started to rumble, like, and we could hear smashing in the jungle. And he said, oh, his name was Govinda. He said, oh, we have to go right now. I said, no. I need to stay with Narasimha a little longer. No, the elephants are coming. They will kill us. They will trample us. And you could feel like a, what is that called? When the earth shakes? Earthquake. Elephants are so big and strong that you can feel the earth shaking. And him and my photographer were already running full speed. And I was still, and they were like screaming, you have to run now. And when I saw the trees hardly, 20 meters away, starting to part, then I started running for my life. Narasimha. We were all screaming. And I could still feel, and I heard them. They made the noise. Trumpet noise, like elephant. And they didn't chase us because they're much faster. They would have got us. I had other experiences with wild elephants. They almost killed and smashed the jeep. And I made it, but it was so exciting. I wanted to go back, but they didn't want to go back with me. A little dangerous. And one night when we were staying in this village, right? This is the one, Yalasi, one of my favorite deities. Again, we showed up very late in the night, and the whole village came to do puja with us. And we had no place to stay, so me and my photographer stayed in the Shishi Gornitai Ki Jai. So we stayed in the Brahmin's house. Now the Brahmin was one of the big archaeological department heads in India. He was a genius guy, PhD, double PhD. So he knew everything about Narasimha. I was staying up with him all night. Now around 4 o'clock in the morning, I wanted to go to bed. So they gave us a room. And I went inside the room, and my photographer was shaking to death, crying. Are? I said, what's wrong? He said, don't move. Don't move. He said, there's a gigantic cobra under the bed. Now, king cobra, there's male and female. You know the difference? No difference? Anybody? Male is kind of more blackish blue. Females sometimes can be a little reddish, brown, black, and much smaller. And the females always attack till they bite you, defending the territory. Males will go. So I thought he was joking, trying to get me back because I was terrorizing him for many months. And he did not like snakes. I took my flashlight, I put under the bed. The cobra was like this thick around. He was huge. And he was just looking at me. Not with the head open. So I went out of the room and I told Govinda's dad, there's a big cobra under the bed. And they said, oh, we were wondering where he went. I said, what do you mean? Oh yeah, he kind of lives with us around the house. I said, yeah, but he's in the house. They said, oh, don't worry, we'll scare him out. So my photographer ran out of the room, screaming and running. He ran into the Jeep, locked all the doors, screaming like crazy madman. And they went easily, and they just went inside. The young boy, Govind, he was hardly 17, 18, took a stick, and the cobra just knew what to do. He just... But I was standing close. The cobra was only 1 meter from me. And he was so huge. And he was so long, like 18, 20 feet long cobra. And it was so powerful. And after he left, I went to bed peace. My photographer came back. But soon the floor started to rumble and the windows were shaking. All this sound and commotion. So again, my photographer screamed, Hare Narasimha, Narasimha. And I look out, it was full moon night, like tonight I think it's full moon. And there was a huge group of wild elephants smashing the trees, going against the Jeep, smashing, you know. They came towards the house, and the wooden blinds, you know, you can lock, they smashed them. Very dangerous creatures. So many, many adventures I had like this, finding Narasimha and seeking him out over the years. And this is just one of the books. I have another one there. You can see the second book and first book. Narasimha, the Lost Temples, and Narasimha, the God of Yoga. Now, in Sanatana Dharma, there's a lot of misconceptions because of the so many invasions and fake gurus and self-proclaimed teachers, and we won't get into that, but there's a lot of nonsense because nobody reads the Shastras, Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, the Gita, the Bhagavatam. So there's a lot of speculation. So the foundation of Sanatan is Narasimha because he's the Raksho Bhuvana, the divine protector of Dharma and the divine protector of our pure, innocent soul, Atma, right? And he's considered our father. So as our father, what is the father supposed to do? Protect you always. Without judgment, he always comes to your aid. Even if you're a badmash, okay? Even if you're a naughty boy or girl, Bhagavan still loves you unconditionally. This is Narasimha. They say Mata Narasimha, Pitta Narasimha, like best friend Narasimha, you know, everything. So I didn't know any of this when I was young. when I was traveling through every state in India finding his temples, his people, whether they were Rajasthani, Gujarati, from Karnataka, from Maharashtra, Gypsies, Tamil, Keralites, didn't matter. And then the billion other subcategories of Gotras, blah, 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 you know. Their love for Narasimha was all the same. Whether they were Ramanujas, Madhvas, Shankaras, Jains, Parsis, every other, they all worship Narasimha on the same level. Raksho Bhuvana, divine father and protector, remover of obstacles. They would fight over, oh, this one's God, that one's God, Shiva's God. Blah. Nope, but when you mention Narasimha, he is our protector. And they were all fearless in their life. I've said this many times, fearless. And their examples were amazing. And then I was able to find so many different forms just by their love. Let's see if we can try it again. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, this is nice. Okay. This one is very nice because it's in an underground cave, and I just found it by chance. Just like this last trip, I was with my son in India, and I was driving by an area I have driven by 100 times, and just something in my mind said, look over. And then I saw the Tiwadi, the archway with Narasimha on top, and it was a temple I hadn't seen. Look, can you see him? There's his face, his hands. This is Ugra Narasimha. You can see Hiranyakashipu's head. He's killing him. He's in an underground cave. And they hid him as well when the Muslims were coming. They put him in the underground cave and they built a hall, like a marriage hall above him. And there's kind of like a platform. When you get a marriage, when you're married, as you know, sometimes they'll put Vishnu statue there, you know, and then the chairs where you get married. So behind this little platform, there's a small hole, and you slide through the hole and go down like this slide into the tunnel. It's very special. Let's see if we can get some more. Come on. We blame it on the typhoon. So earlier it was working. Oh yeah, here. Let's see if I can show you the hole. No, that's a bummer. So, hey Bhagwan. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? Yeah? You sure? Alright. Let's see. Look at the lion Narasimha. How amazing is he? This was very scary. The man who showed me, he said he's inside the jungle. We have to go alone. And my photographer was very scared. He always thought we were going to get kidnapped. Two big white guys, you know? We're going to get kidnapped. So when I found this deity, you can see how small I am compared to this deity. This deity was worshipped by the gypsies, the tribals. They didn't have the means to worship a fancy deity, so they worshiped this tribal deity. And in that area, so many tribals were getting eaten by tigers and leopards. You know the stories of India? Kenneth Anderson, Jim Corbett, you know these British officers? They would hunt the man-eating tigers, and the tigers and leopards would eat little kids. Yeah, they would eat children. And so these British guys would hunt them down, right? And it was wild, actually. So this is, you know, it's funny. This photo here, it's India. This photo was taken 10 years ago. No more, 11. Look how beautiful India is, right? Sorry. Now this does not look like this. Breaks my heart. So many trees have been cut down, and they have houses there overlooking the beach. And if you go to this area, there's a waterfall. We know the story of the Pandavas. Draupadi was taking bath in the waterfall, and one crocodile came and caught her. And then Arjuna, 2 crocodiles, he killed the crocodiles, and they were Gandharvas. So in this place, Madhvacharya found a very ancient Ugra Narasimha deity. This place is called Apsara Kund. So there's this crystal clear waterfall, and there's a deity, ancient temple of Narasimha right next to it. Now unfortunately it's been turned into a lover's spot. People go for picnics. Ah, here he is. Look. Apsara Ugra Narasimha. Now the deity Madhva found is not the big one, it's the small one right here. Look. This one. Can you see him? See how the intestines are twisted? Because he's going like this, twisting the intestines as he's pulling them out of Hiranyakashipu. Deity's like over 1,000 years old. Yeah, it's just like that. So, many, many leopards in this area. Let's see. Find some good stuff down here. Anybody from Maharashtra here? Oh, Maharati's in the house. Which place? Ah, Pune. Oh, you're from Pune. Well, hello. You've seen him in Sadashivapit? You've been there? Wow. Lucky. You've been there? You've been there? But you've been to Sadashivapit? You haven't been to Sadashivapit? You've been. But no, you have to take them. It's beautiful. Anybody from, you're from also? Which place?
I'm from Pune. Almost 8 years I'm in Sadashivapet.
Oh, you've seen Narasimha in Sadashivapet? Fantastic. You're also?
I'm from Bombay.
Bombay itself. There's no Narasimha temple. Well, actually, that's wrong. One of my movie star Bollywood friends, there was a Narasimha temple in, is it Bandra? No. Bandra Hills? Is that where? No, this is. No, I'm talking about Narasimha temple, not ISKCON temple. There used to be one where they built these high rises. Actually, one building collapsed. I forget the area, but yeah, it was because they demolished the old temple. They say it was Narasimha temple, Lakshmi Narasimha temple. Anybody from Tamil Nadu? No Tamils? Oh, in the back. Tamil. Vanakkam.
See, because don't mind my saying, in Bombay there are a lot of Maharashtrians. They have this, Ganpati, they worship a lot, and there's a temple where almost 300,000 to 400,000 people go every day. And they're maybe collecting 1 million a day.
Nice, wow. Good business, but amazing. But Ganesh is a worshipper of Narasimha. So this is another thing that has been twisted over the years. If you look back in the history of who was one of the most famous Maharatis? The small guy, the warrior. Maharaj Shivji. Shivji Maharaj. That man was crazy Narasimha Bhakta. I was just in Pune. I was just in Nagpur. Nagpur, the archaeological department of all of Maharashtra. They have his lion nails where he tore apart the Muslim king. He tore out his intestines. Shivji Maharaj was crazy Narasimha. He saved hundreds of temples. So powerful he was. They call him the Narasimha of Hindustan, Bharat. Now Bharat needs a few hundred Shivji Maharajas, and then there'll be no issues. Yeah, the claws. They were called the Narasimha claws. He offered them to Narasimha, and then he killed so many. Amazing. Anybody from Kerala? Anybody from Karnataka? Tamils are in the back. And then Andhra. Ah? You're from Karnataka? Oh, nice. Which place? Bangalore. Bangalore. Okay, nice. Yeah. So many Narasimha temples in Bangalore. And then, so each state had so many dynasties. Karnataka, the Hoysalas.
Mostly in the south.
No, so many in north. You have to remember, a little different. The north had what are they? Were they the Rajputs, the ones in Rajasthan? Yeah, those kings were. Man Singh was so powerful, big Narasimha devotee. I knew the Queen Gayatri, and we would go take darshan of Govind Dev Ji. But when you walk out of the palace, in their private, you have to come to a. First, they go to a small temple, which was there much before Govind Dev Ji, which is a Narasimha temple, which was from her forefathers up to Man Singh. He worshipped Narasimha as Krishna. And all the Rajasthani kings, at the entrances of all their kingdoms, there's always a Narasimha Mandir at the 4 or 8 or 12 entrances. And same with Gujarat kings, I mean, the Bihar, everybody. They all were. I did my research. Initially, I didn't like, research and school, but then because I was trying to find out the history of Narasimha, because so much of it's lost, then I had to go and talk to the academics, the professors, anthropology departments, archaeologists. It was amazing, actually. And then I learned actually more about the history of India, even politically, which I didn't want to. So yeah, it was amazing. And then that's what I learned about a lot of the kings. And then I found all these amazing temples how many of you been to Vrindavan? Many, right? Yeah. Do you know any temples of Narasimha in Vrindavan? I know like 100, Not even the ISKCON devotees know. They know like 1 or 2 maybe. But this deity is very special. This Yoga Narasimha Swami. He was found inside of a cave in Karnataka. One Swamiji was going for a bath in the holy river, and they heard this roaring sound, which was not unusual in Karnataka at the time, because the tiger, there was many tigers back in those days. 200-300 years ago, 400 years ago, there was leopards, tigers, all over India. So hearing a roar is not a big deal. But this roar was a little bit more heavy Shakti. The ground was shaking with the roar. So his disciples got very shy. And they were like, oh, Maharajji, hey, Swamiji, Bodh Khatrak, I'm going home. Shubhratri. See you later. And 2 brahmacharis stayed with him. He wanted to find out, where is this roaring coming from? He followed it to the cliff of a little mountain, and he saw I went there. It's a little cliff, and then there's just this hole, like a cave. You have to bend down and get on your knees. So Swamiji went inside. His disciple said, no, Guruji, no. Don't go inside. Dangerous. But again, if we're devotees, we're fearless. What's the problem? We fear so much, typhoon, this, that. But these people I met, they feared nothing. They didn't care. They knew Narasimha would protect them. Just like Shivji Maharaj knew he could never be taken by these Muslims, because he had the strength of Narasimha behind him. So Swamiji went in the cave and he told his disciples, he said, if I don't come out, you just go and never come back again. Leave me. But he came back carrying this deity. The deity's maybe about this size, a little smaller maybe, carrying on his head. And when he went in the cave, the roaring stopped. Girija Narasimha, remember, one form. He's waiting inside of a cave for his devotee or his bhakta to come and worship him. This is Girija. So if you look, the chakra is unusual. Normally it's round, but it's actually facing us. Why? He's getting ready to throw it. You see how it's flat? It's not perfectly round. So instead of being like this, it's in the position of like this, where it's ready to go at any minute. This also shows his protective nature, right? I'll zoom in, you can see it. See the chakra? Yeah. Oh, hey. So he carried the deity down to his little hut. And, oh, I have a cramp again. Sorry, I have a cramp. So he went to his hut, and that night, while him and his wife and kids were sleeping, these tigers came and they were trying to smash through the hut in the doors and get in. They were roaring and scratching. Everybody screaming. His wife, can you imagine? Swamiji wasn't so scared. He said, go in front of Narasimha. He was in the puja room. Go in front of Narasimha. And they all went, and the scratching and the roaring died down, and they left. They all slept before his lotus feet. Look, his beautiful feet. See his beautiful toes. And he had a dream. Narasimha came and said, you took me out of my abode. My worship should never stop. So the Swamiji made a vow, in his life, in his kid's life. And for, 300 years, I think just under 300 years, that vow stayed there. Until the one son, I told you yesterday, for those who weren't here, he needed money. He went to Bangalore, and he was only worshipping Narasimha once a month. And he became very wealthy, and he continued with only once a month. And then he went there, and one of the descendants of those tigers grabbed him in the thigh. It was the left thigh. I saw a big bite mark. The tiger bit out open his leg, carried him in front of Narasimha, and threw him there. And sat there cleaning like a cat. You know how cats do? And then he left. And he had a dream, and Narasimha said, your forefathers worshipped me for hundreds of years. They had nothing. They offered me sometimes only water and berries from the forest. And you have everything. And you stopped. Put me back in my cave. And this devotee who I still know, I think I have a photo. Oh yeah, see? Here he is. This is the Pujari. It's hard to see the small photo, but he's here. So still to this day, he worships Narasimha. He sleeps in there with Narasimha, where the tiger dropped him. And I know he had 3 daughters. One daughter just had a son, so they'll carry on the puja. And this temple is also in kind of a little cave. I helped renovate it because it was very, very humble, beautiful devotees, So, and I asked him, do the tigers still come? Oh yes, they still come. And they carved a statue, his forefathers carved a statue of the tigers that they keep. Normally, they'll have a Garuda Stamba, something like this, Or how Ganesh has the rat. Shiva, Kartikeya has the peacock, or Shiva has Nandi. So, this one has, see the little tiger down here? A tiger statue. This is in front of the temple. See the tiger statue at the bottom? This represents the tigers that they believe have guarded the temple over the last how many centuries. So it's pretty awesome. I love those types of stories because it shows, again, the faith devotees. We only have a minute or 2 left. Anybody have any questions they want to add or share?
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
There's so many Narasimha
Yeah, many. Uh, I had the same question. Why are all these temples? Look at this beautiful. Look at this. Look how beautiful India is, or was. It's an old photo. See me? I was a lot skinnier before marriage, and then it's gorgeous. It's thousand something like deities lying all over the place. Cow, beautiful, you know, overlooking the mountain range. Why is this temple not being worshipped? Obviously, it was started with devotion, but you know, this is Kali Yuga. Who invaded India? Well, it was Bharat. Bharat is not India. Bharat means the world. King Parikshit split the world with the chariot wheels. Then the continent split up. It's still Bharat. Krishna left all the Kshatriya's wives. Remember, Arjuna couldn't protect them. They all connected with other breeds, which sub-breeds. So Brahmins, Kshatriya, there's such mixed gunas, it's insane. Nobody's Brahmin now. Nobody's Kshatriya now. So the invasions, it's Kali Yuga. Who invaded India? The lowest nature of human. The British, I'm not bagging them, but they weren't exactly the most powerful, you know. They came to India, the kings of India had diamonds, just they were using as paperweights, like nothing, garbage. British had nothing. The kings of India had unbelievable wealth, yet they were influenced by these little imbeciles who had nothing. This is Kali. That's what he does. He puts his people and he knows how to manipulate. In India, Sanatan followers also are passive. They didn't defend themselves, and then it was a domino effect, and then it opened up to more the Islam invasion. And also, I don't like politics, but Gandhi didn't do a good job, neither did Nehru. That's another topic. So then the temples were abused. All the money from temples are still taken and given to mosques and churches. How is that cool? Nobody says anything. In America, we defend America, Americans. Nobody's going to come and take over. Nobody can just build a mosque. No, they have to ask the people of the village. And if they say, sorry, this is a Christian village, ain't going to happen. They can protest, they can do whatever they want. But unfortunately, in India over the years, Sanatan Dharma has become put in the back burner, and materialism has been put at the front. So I stopped criticizing this a long time ago. Yeah, I stopped criticizing the neglect of temples. It's the past. We just have to look towards the future. There are many youth who are getting into Sanatan, who are getting into the culture, wanting to renovate. I've renovated like hundreds and hundreds of temples. I didn't ask for any Indians to help me. Did it myself. They're not going to do it, I'll do it. So you just have to, that's what has to happen, and that's what is happening. So after a few generations, everything comes in cycles. So it's very at a low point. So it has to come, so this, and it'll be in our life. So we're very fortunate, actually. So, but yeah, for many years, I'm like, why is this deity broken on the ground? How is this possible, Bhagavan? How, I cannot question God like this.
There's also perception that the deity of Lord Narasimha, I mean, is very carefully you need to worship. Because, so is that also a reason that?
No, total misconception. Your father is your father. I mean, come on. You think God is so mean? Like, this is not like a Islam God or a Christian God. Fear is not there for us. I'm sorry. All this scary, many even gurus do it. Oh, Narasimha will destroy you. This is nonsense, idiot talk. He's our father. He loves us. So, nonsense. Worship him at home. Have an idol. Have idols of him. You see, I have all these beautiful deities. They all travel with me to temples. You can take one home, buy them. You can buy the books. You can order these and have darshan every day. If you don't want to have a puja, open and be like, hey, Narasimha. It's the same. So these little things keep the Sanatan Bhakti within us, in our homes, in our environment, you know. And don't be shy. A lot of stuff is lies, you know. God is not here to punish us. We punish ourselves. He's completely our friend, our father, everything. So, yeah, it's nonsense. Worship Narasimha. He's the one for our age, Kali Yuga. He's the one that gives us everything. So, any other questions or want to add anything? Everybody happy? Oh, I'm 1 minute over. Big trouble. So if anyone is interested in looking at the books, please come. Nice ladies are there. You can ask them to see kavachas and yantras. Narasimha yantra is the most powerful of all yantras. You can put them in your wallets or anything, and just don't be shy. Have a look. Thank you for your time on this beautiful Sunday evening. May you all be blessed by Narasimha. Jai Narasimha.